Hey, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me. It's Friday, April 26th. I want to talk about what's been in the news this week. Pretty quiet week, really, all things considered, although we did get PCE today, Fed's favorite measure of inflation with the core numbers, but I'll get to that later. We'll start with mortgage applications. Purchases down 1% and refinances down 6%. Needless to say, interest rates have been ticking up, so not much of a surprise there. Jobless claims, those filing for the first time, initial down 5,000 and continuing down 15,000. So again, continuing to see that swing back and forth each week. GDP first quarter of 2024, the first reading release, did show that it was at 1.6%, which was a pretty big miss as the expectation was 2%. But I do expect there to be some changes to this and probably be revised up in the next month, which is common for the start of the year. So we'll see what happens there, and I'll be sure to give those numbers to you as we get them. CoreLogic loan performance came out for March, showing that 30-day late payments were unchanged. So that's positive. 90-day late payments down from 1% to negative 0.9%. So it's a little bit of improvement there, actually. And then foreclosures, again, remain unchanged at 0.3% of the market. So again, fortunately, people are still doing their due diligence and paying their mortgage payments timely. So good news there. Now, PCE, that did come out today. Let me get you to those numbers. It did show a headline number up 0.3%. And we broke it out to you a little further just because it was so close to what the actual estimates were. You can see that in this slide here. But then the core number at 0.3% as well, hitting the expectations just a little bit above. Now, within this report, really some of the key indicators, housing has still been problematic for us, still driving those inflation numbers and preventing those inflation numbers from coming down more quickly, which has been problematic since that's the driver for the Feds in determining whether and when they will start cutting short-term interest rates. So since we're not seeing this progressive change in declining in the inflationary numbers, there's no expectation that we're going to see any short-term interest rate cuts soon. The next meeting being in May when that announcement would be made, unlikely to happen at this point unless we see some big changes in the next month. Within this report, we also see that personal income up 0.5% month over month. However, personal spending is up 0.8% month over month. That does suggest that people are spending more than what they're making. So whether they're continuing to put that in credit cards is most likely the case. So consumer debt going up, and savings now at an all-time low at 3.2%. That's the lowest since October 2022. So just wanted to bring those details to you. So now let's go to the charts, and I'll show you what the MBS market's doing. This is, you can see we're having a positive day today. We are up 23 basis points the last we checked. So we are trying to make up some ground. It's not enough to make up where we really faltered 2 weeks ago. But at least we're not going down further. We're still hanging around the 7% interest rate mark. I think for those of you that are in the market to purchase or that are thinking about refinancing, maybe pulling out some equity out of your home, pay off some debt, get very used to that 7% number. I think we're going to see it until pretty much the end of the year, maybe in the last quarter, when we might see some activity with short-term interest rates coming down, which should improve the MBS markets and get us some better rates for long-term interest rates. Hard to say, can't predict that it's no absolute there, but that's my expectation at this point as we move through the year. So if you're interested in purchasing, get comfortable with that 7%, unless you want to pay points to get a lower interest rate. But again, got to think of the financial benefit to that, whether there is one or not, because if you're paying a considerable amount of money to get a lower interest rate just to lower your mortgage payment on a loan that's probably only going to be temporary anyways, because you will eventually refinance in a year or two, maybe not the best use of your funds. There are applications I can show you to show where you would break even with purchasing points to purchase or refinance at this point, whether it makes sense to pay points for a lower rate. We can give you all those numbers so you are making a very educated decision on that purchase and what rate you want to have when you do purchase or refinance. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I do appreciate when you like my videos. Feel free to share them as needed. And if you have any comments, feel free to reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Otherwise, have a great day. And if you are heavy into football and have a specific team you love, I hope you get the draft picks you want. So far, I'm happy with the Rams. So have a